Welcome, welcome. I am WriterMaven. I am a wrestling commentator. I talk about Judgment Day, Dom, Liv, Raquel, Finn, Carlito, JD, and Damien, and Rhea. I implore all of y'all to join me as I say, suck it, Rhea. Suck it. I was not expecting that outcome tonight, but, and I'm sad about Liv not getting in there just now. I have my theories about what could happen later, but right now, with Rhea, she can suck it hard. She deserved everything she got tonight, and I couldn't be more happier at the outcome. So suck it, Rhea. Suck it. Suck it with the straw. I don't give a fuck. Suck it. I had Rhea stands, not fans, these are stands. Rhea stands talking about how I'm obsessed with Rhea. And I just said, you know what? I'm just going to be a petty bitch. And y'all will not like me because I am an extreme petty bitch. And what have I been doing all on the X after Rhea's loss? Being a supreme petty bitch coming with all the receipts. They shouldn't have tried me today. They really shouldn't. They really should not. My podcast is called Wrestling Receipts for a reason. So when they complain about why Rhea and Bianca's shoving match wasn't a DQ, all I have to remind them is that why wasn't Rhea counted out when she decided to wail on Dom at Bad Blood? So suck it, Rhea, and cry me a river. You can suck it. Suck it so hard. Oh man, I'm going to talk about this match more because this match was something else just due to what was going on in the match. But as of right now, this is just the Suck It Rhea podcast right now. But we had lots of development. We still haven't pulled the trigger on Finn and Dom, but we got a lot of development. It's still annoyingly slow with how they progress Finn and Dom, but we at least got some progression and we still got some inkling on what they're going to do in the future. Um, let's go in chronological order while I'm still in such in a happy mood right now. First of all, since I'm on the Suck It Rhea train right now, I want to call y'all's attention to pre-Raw when the WWE was advertising Rhea versus Iyo and gave them like an 8-minute playlist. It was really short. I commented that their that playlist was longer than the Rhea's promos recently. Seriously, it was like an 8-minute promo. And then Rhea says on the X, there's literally so much more history between us than this short ass clip. Now, Rhea was right to call this out. However, where was this energy when Liv, Dom, and Raquel were trying to get over their history and they were prevented and their history was rewritten? Where was that energy? So why was it that she can bring up and complain about what they were doing with between her and Iyo, but she was really quiet when Dom and Liv had to use interviews to tell their side of the story? Non-canon interviews that were talking about with these other wrestling commentators and interviews. Dom and Liv literally had to go outside the WWE to tell their story. The closest they got for a story that was canon wise with the WWE was with Jackie Redmond when they had that little interview, just them together, Dom and Liv. So that's like the closest we got to them kind of explaining their side and explaining their history. And then Raquel got a little bit of a promo explaining her history, but Rhea glossed over it. So, like I said, Rhea, where was this energy when Liv and Dom had to go outside the WWE to tell their story? Dom, where was the energy when Dom was reduced to saying that he left Rhea for video games and chicken tendies? Where was this energy where Raquel's injuries were glossed over? Where was this energy where it was glossed over that Rhea turned on Liv and then they blamed Edge for manipulating Rhea? Where was the energy? A lot of the Liv fans, Dom fans, Raquel fans, Liv La Familia fans were really going after Rhea for that comment because it would have been fine if she had the same energy last year. Like, woman, You can't pick and choose stuff. Now you want to pick and choose to have more history between you and Iyo. Now you want the WWE to bring up the history. It's not even that much history. All we have is that you never been beaten Iyo. Okay. But when we have the richer history of you with Liv, Dom, and Raquel, we couldn't even get that. Dom had to be reduced to just some guy that just wants video games and chicken tendies, being called daddy. Liv was never allowed to express, you know, be right about Rhea turning on her because Rhea had no reason to turn on Liv. Liv didn't do anything to her. Liv was innocent, completely innocent. This is one times where a face was really innocent about something. Liv was innocent when Rhea turned on her. Where was this energy for that? Where was this energy when you went out of your way to injure Raquel and cause them to lose the tag team titles? And then you want to bring up like Raquel's history at NXT, so you can bring up Raquel's history at NXT to make Raquel look bad, but nothing could be brought up about Rhea to make her look bad. And at the same time, we had Michael Cole rewriting history when we still have the receipts on the playlist showing what you did to Liv, Dom, and Raquel. There's a playlist right now of Rhea brutalizing Dom, but Dom's the slut. Dom's the one that should have got his ass beat. So again, Rhea, darling, you know, your energy should have been for this last year. So it makes no. So of course, people are not going to feel sorry for your ass for losing a title. But oh well. I digress. Like I said, my podcast is called Wrestling Receipts for a reason. Because I keep all the receipts. I know where to look up said receipts. That's why people don't like me on the X sometimes, because I can bring up something every time they want to say that Rhea treated Dom well. I can pull up the ultimatum really, really quick. I can pull up where Rhea said for Dom to come home. When people want to say that Damien treated Dom like a brother, I can pull up where Damien threw Dom under the bus to save his own ass from Rhea. Despite the contrary, Finn, even though he's being an ass now, he was pretty much the only one that really took care of Dom before the Judgment Day split. So you can't really pull up things on Dom, not Dom, on Finn, like during the formation of Judgment Day when Dom joined it. Finn was cool. It was only now that Finn's being an ass. So, but you can pull up things on what Finn has done now, but back then you can't pull that on Finn. Finn was pretty much being the stepfather. So wrestling receipts wise, people got to be really careful with me. Don't try it because I can look it up. One of the reasons why you can be that's one of the perks of being a 30-year wrestling fan. You may not remember everything, but at least you have an inkling on where to go and where to look things up. And don't try to rewrite history with me or try to re-image history with me. People always hated it when Vince McMahon always tried to rewrite history. So don't try it now with this Triple H era. But I digress. So, also, before I get into Raw, we had the news that Rey Fenix was released from AEW. And it looks like he's on his way to the WWE. Now, why am I bringing up Rey Fenix? Because there is a chance that he could be the dark arts master that we kind of finally got some headway on tonight on Raw, and I'm going to get into that later. But he could be that person, and he could be a lot of different things. People were saying he could tag with Penta, but I really don't want Rey Fenix to tag with Penta. Why do I not want Rey Fenix to tag with Penta? Because Penta has been established as a single star. It does no good to throw Penta into the tag teams just yet. If I had my choice on it, you can have Rey Fenix. If you're not going to use Malachi Black, you can have Rey Fenix as the master of the dark arts of Lucha Libre. You could come in with Rey Fenix with the chip on his shoulder for his brother leaving him behind. You don't have to mention AEW, but you can just intimate it like he left me behind, and you can go on from there. And if you want to tie him in with Dom, you can, because they're already kind of starting some things with Dom and Penta anyway, kind of hinting at it, like at the Royal Rumble. So you can do that. But that's just my little segue of Ray Phoenix because people were already starting to talk about Penta and Ray Phoenix as a tag team, and I don't really want that for Penta just yet because he's already established himself and he's pretty popular. So I don't think that would be fair to Penta, and I don't think that would be good fair to Ray Phoenix. So I would just have them on their own, and if they want to bring them together later, they can because you can fall back on a tag team with the for the both of them later. So shall we get into Raw? Raw. When we first start off with Raw and we first encounter the Judgment Day, it looks like the Judgment Day has had the aesthetics upgraded. We've had some nice upgrades. There's like some little backgrounds there. I couldn't really figure out what that background was, but it had Dawn's like um backbone vest on it, chicken tendies on there. So we had a really upgrade in the aesthetic of the Judgment Day Clubhouse. So it looks like Dom and Liv, or at least Dom himself, like his decor is taking over Judgment Day little by little. And notice that Finn stuff is kind of being pushed out. People keep mentioning the red demon like cooler or briefcase. As did anybody notice this? Everybody keeps mentioning that every week, and I had to say on the X again that briefcase has been in the clubhouse for a year, almost 2 years at this point. It's always been there. What's been different about the briefcase is that its placement, because it looks like it's kind of slowly being phased out, kind of like how Finn with his Titantrons and his logos and things like that are removing the Judgment Day's branding and aesthetics. I'm noticing that Finn's things are kind of being phased out. Like how today, when they first got into the clubhouse, you notice how they focused on Carlito's apple bowl there, where he was happy to get the red apple, which was hilarious too. But notice how prominent Carlito's stuff is in the clubhouse. We have the Dino chicken tendy plushies in there. We have the little aesthetic things. We have Carlito's apples. We have the PlayStation 5 setup in there. Everything, there's always a little piece of everybody but Finn's prominently displayed. With Finn, it's still there, but not as prominent. So it's just something to think of when you're looking at the Judgment Day Clubhouse if you go back and watch it. So Finn was being a grump as usual. Saul was, checking out how Finn was, and then he went to join Liv and Raquel. Notice how Liv has boasted about beating everybody. Rhea, Iyo, and Bianca. Keep this in mind when I bring up the Rhea and Iyo match later on. Just keep it in mind. Keep it in the back of your head. But Liv was boasting that she beat everybody. And she said that she wants Raquel, and Raquel herself are talking about the Intercontinental Championship. Now, for all the rumors about Alexa, Wyatt Six, tag teams like Hold the Tag Ropes for Liv and Raquel, it's really interesting that they're bringing up another title other than focusing on the tag team. Because you have Raquel mentioning IC. Now, why would you mention IC if you're not going to go for it? And why would Liv bring up beating everybody? There's something else in play here. Triple H may still be on my shit list, but there's something else in play here. This is just a wait, not being patient, but this is more like wait and see how it goes. Kind of sit back and this is more of an observation period at this moment. I'm gonna bitch about it if it gets bad, but this is more of an observation period. But just keep in mind and keep in the back of your head that Liv said that she has beaten everybody and that Raquel is going for IC. Now, Finn gets up in his grumpy self. His next lives for losing at the Elimination Chamber, and then he gets after Carlito. So this is interesting too. Now he's going after Carlito. Notice how Dom stood up for Carlito here. Because, first of all, Carlito usually doesn't get called out for that. I mean, he's going to get his ass whooped and things like that because that's just the role he is in the Judgment Day as being fodder. But nobody calls out Carlito for failing like that. You know, it's weird. Like, why would you call out, the guy that's busting his ass for you for failing? You know, and Dom had a slick line here. Like, he said to Finn, like, "Hey, you had a chair," and he pretty much called him out for pussing out with Braun, even though he had the chair, which is the truth. I mean, Dom was putting his body on the line, but here comes, and then Finn caused his disqualification, Dom's disqualification, and then even though he had a chair, he pushed out. So notice how Dom is standing up, and also notice how Liv's facial expression changes with whatever time Finn like negs her. So you are noticing the subtle changes with Finn and Dom when it comes to with not Finn and Dom, like with Liv and Dom when it comes to Finn. Dom still wants another member, and Finn is like, no, I don't want that. And then Finn says he's gonna take care of Braun, and then Liv says good luck about that. And then also notice that Dom talks and asks Liv about Jade. So it looks like Liv still knows something more about what's going on with Jade, Naomi, and Bianca. And it looks like Rhea might know that too, but I'll get to that later on too. But that's the Judgment Day Clubhouse. We did get some progression, some nice little bits here. Like I said, it looks like Liv might have some more in play for the title, the actual title at WrestleMania, maybe even at WrestleMania, or she can at least throw her hat in the ring. And then Raquel can go IC. So it might still end up with them doing double duty. I gotta discuss this more later on, but follow me here. We might have Liv and Raquel doing double duty at WrestleMania. Now, during the walk of the Creed brothers to the ring, or backstage, there's heading to the ring, we saw Dom talking to somebody. Now, consensus is that it could be Karrion Kross. Now, I have no problem with Dom talking with Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross has always seems like he's respected Dom, so he's always defended Dom too. Like whenever somebody, like when the WWE like official account was trying to talk about Dom, you see Karrion slip in and talk, stand up for Dom. Same thing with Liv before she unfollowed him. But Karrion Kross, if he sees it, you'll see you will see Karrion stick up for Dom. So that's needed. Like Karrion has always respected Dom's boundaries, and he's always stuck up for him. And it's not like he's always trying to pull something about. Like he's not looking to um take what he can for Dom from Dom. You know what I mean? So it's more of a respect thing. So Dom talking with Karrion Kross doesn't bother me. I mean, it's way better than Wyatt Six. Like I rather have Dom talking with Karrion than dealing with Wyatt Six bullshit that people keep wanting to push out there. Like if it's a choice between Karrion Kross and Wyatt Six, I'm taking Karrion Kross. But even with Karrion Kross, he's not that bad. And also notice how Karrion has kind of pulled AJ away from Braun. Could Karrion have done that as a favor for Dom? Because AJ is now focusing his attention from Braun to Logan Paul. Now we could have had some switch ups in the booking for WrestleMania, you know, last minute changes, and that might happen. But it's just really interesting how AJ's focus went from Braun Breaker to Logan Paul. And notice how Karrion has been floating around with AJ and his I'm worth it hair. Like AJ has like shampoo perfect hair. I never know how he maintains this all these years. But notice how things have shifted with Karrion. So it's just real interesting to see what can come about with Dom talking with Karrion. And notice how Dom is still doing things behind the scenes. So he is still active. I mean, we don't see it from week to week. We don't see Dom like acting week to week, but we get those glimpses here and there that Dom is always working in the background. So it's probably just going to be a matter of time before it finally comes out where he can act in the open. It's just being really painstakingly taking way painstakingly long to get there and pulling teeth to get to that point. And we just all want to pull the trigger, but we know how Triple H is. So he had that. Now, we had the nice little segment of Chad meeting the dark arts Lucha Libre master, and he got a box, and I had to go, what's in the box? Lucha Libre edition. Like if you remember the movie Seven, where Kevin Bacon was it Kevin Bacon? What's in the box? If you remember that scene. So we have something there. I'm kind of guessing. I'm thinking that's like a Lucha Libre mask. I just have an inkling that's gonna be like a mask or something, and it's not something where Chad was like when he opened the box. It wasn't something where he scoffed at it. So it looks like it's something he would consider important. So I would not be surprised if that's like a mask or gear or something like that. Like something that bestows the powers of the dark arts of Lucha Libre. Maybe he gets, or maybe that's his in to train with some dark arts master or something like that. But I kind of like that little promo package. It was kind of slick on what he was doing. Like he was going around asking, and then he had to give up the money for the box. So Finn, Braun, and Dom. Now, Braun Breaker started his little interview in the commercial break before Finn came out. Braun made fun of Dom. Finn comes in the ring saying that he's untouchable, like he isn't Finn Balor. Like, how you gonna say you're untouchable when you've been losing? Like, come on, dude. I mean, I know Dom's been losing, but he doesn't have the illusion of grandeur like Finn does. Um, this prompts Braun to come down the ring. We get the sneak attack on Braun by Carlito and Dom. And then Finn looks all scared, and then he starts attacking, and then he gets walloped on, and then Dom saves Finn, and then Carlito got speared for his efforts. Now, here's another takeaway with the Finn, Dom, and Braun segment. Notice who got chanted in that segment. Braun got a few barks, but who got chanted? It was Dom. Dom saving Finn makes sense because the leader, that's what a leader is supposed to do. I know Carlito got obliterated, but poor Carlito, but it is what it is. But a leader saves his group. Dom saved Finn, and some people have surmised that this could be Dom's way of staying on Finn's good side, kind of like how he did with Rhea. If you remember how in the summer of Live Dom, what Dom had to do to stay on Rhea's good side until he betrayed her. He might be doing something similar with Finn, where he stays so good. He's talking back, but he stayed just enough on Finn's good side, so when the betrayal happens, Finn won't expect it, and that's what I'm guessing what's going on here. Again, this leads to keeping not Liv. This keeps Dom, Finn, and Braun in the IC scene, because notice how the camera focused on Dom and Finn, and then Braun. So this keeps them in IC title talk. I don't think we got a match set for either Finn or Dom with Braun at Madison Square Garden, but we might get some more major storyline progressions at MSG next week. Again, this is like an observation period. Wait and see. Do not be patient. If some things come out where it don't look good, I'm going to be on here bitching about it. But for right now, this was good progress. I mean, both Dom and Finn weren't made to look too bad, but they weren't made to look super strong over each other either. So while Dom was taking hits, Finn was taking hits. You know what I mean? Now Rhea versus Iyo. This match. Did y'all see where Rhea almost dropped Iyo on her head? Like Iyo went for what, the head scissors or her Karana or something like that, and she nearly dropped Iyo on her head. And I'm like, ooh, like has she not been wrestling to the point where she's starting to botch? Now I don't like to get on people for botching because they always want to focus on the women who botch. So I don't like focusing on women botching because it's usually unfair to the women. So But I had to look at Rhea. I'm like, okay, what were you doing? Because this match was not as good as Iyo versus Liv for the Elimination Chamber qualifier. It wasn't as good for with the Iyo and Dakota versus Liv Quell tag team match, and it's for damn sure wasn't as good as the Liv Quell versus Bianca and Naomi match last week. This was really surprising to me. Like, it's one thing to take all this time off, but to take this time off and then come back looking like that, like this, that was just bad. And then Rhea, with her dumb self, just gets distracted by Bianca and starts shoving her. Like, why? That's probably why they didn't DQ, because they usually give some leniency with this title matches, but Rhea kind of started it too. So it's not like Bianca was doing something and shoved her. It was more a shoving match, and then she didn't, and then Bianca didn't hit her to cause the DQ. So, but like, why are you starting beef with Bianca? That makes no sense. Like, this is another indication of Rhea always taking her eye off of the ball, like she did, like she got distracted by Dom, and that's how Liv won. But she was doing this with Bianca, and then Iyo took advantage and won. I was not expecting that outcome. I really wasn't. I thought she was just going to win, and then we're just going to get Rhea and Bianca. But Iyo winning throws a whole bunch more wrenches into the mix. First off, like I said, when I was discussing the clubhouse segment, Liv has a case to get into the World Heavyweight Championship. If Raquel goes for IC, follow with me now. If Raquel goes for IC and she's still the tag team champion, and she's able to get into that discussion, then Liv should be able to get into the discussion for the women's world title. And Liv has a case because she has beaten Rhea, she's beaten Bianca, and she's beaten Iyo. So she has these wins. So she can sneak her way in there and make it either a triple threat match between Iyo, Bianca, and herself, or a fatal four way if they're throwing Rhea in there. I don't know. I kind of hope they don't. But if they had to, at least she has a case of making it either a triple threat or a fatal four way. But I'm not sure what's going on with Rhea though, because Rhea, maybe this is their way of getting it off her because something else is going on. Remember how I told you, like, it seems like something else is going on with Rhea. I don't know what's going on with Rhea. She's taking too much time off. Maybe this is their way of getting it off Rhea, give her bow, and then she can take off or whatever. Maybe that's it. Or they trying to get her limp her to WrestleMania so she can get beaten and then she takes some time off. But something's going on there. But yeah, like I said, Bianca was looking behind her, so it could be that Bianca and Naomi were in on taking out Jade. So it wasn't just Naomi, and it wasn't just Bianca. I'm still taking my victory lap because people were just saying it was only Bianca, but I do think it was Naomi and Bianca that took Jade out if they go that way. Um. So, and here's the thing too. Here's a nice little theory. What if Liv and Raquel know who attacked Jade, and if Bianca is in on it too, they know that it was Naomi and Bianca that took Jade out. Now, what if we get some kind of blackmail where Liv blackmails herself into the women's world title scene by blackmailing Bianca? It's food for thought. I'm gonna have to post that on the X and see how that goes, because you can do that like that. Like, this is how Liv worms her way back into the title picture. And you remember, Liv is always thinking she's smarter than this. That's why I said when it comes to this match, this is why she wouldn't attack anybody. Like, she wouldn't go out there and attack Bianca like that. She's smarter than that. So, but what if we do get something like that where Liv worms her way into the match, and then all of this comes to a head where Jade finds out anyway, and then then we're off to the races. That'll make for an interesting build, and that will give it at least give this women's championship at WrestleMania a lot more story than if it was just gonna be Rhea and Bianca straight up. But anyhow, I don't know what y'all think about that, but that's just where I'm going with that. It may not happen that way, but right now, for my Liv fans, it looks like Liv might still have a path to the women's title. I'm not sure if she's going to win, but she at least has a path to that title, and she can get on the WrestleMania card. And that's a lot better than just being stuck with tag. So, I'm going to take a drink of my celebratory milkshake and say, suck it, Rhea, again. Suck it, suck it, suck it. I don't care. I'm just going to boast. I'm going to boast. Because that's what she gets. That's exactly what she gets. He's trying to be a badass, and that's what happens to you. He held that title for 56 days. Like I said, I was really annoyed that they couldn't keep the title on Liv for that long. But if we get something out of it where it's at least interesting and Liv can get in there and she can get on the WrestleMania card, I'll be happy with it. Because Liv deserves that much for what she's done, carrying the Raw division on her back last year and this year too.